In the age of the internet, a whole goldmine of knowledge is just a few clicks away. Only sometimes it seems like there's too much knowledge. How do you figure out what's even worth knowing and what's just going to clog up your brain with useless nonsense? But I'll help you out. From the weird and unexpected to the truly amazing, here are the top facts you didn't know 5 minutes ago. Savage cucumber. Imagine you have a date at a fancy restaurant, but when you get there, you realize you forgot the mince. And to make matters worse, you just ordered garlic without thinking. But fear not, just order a side dish of cucumber salad. Fibrous vegetables like celery and cucumbers increase saliva production, which flushes out odor-causing bacteria and eliminates bad breath. Just hold a slice of cucumber between your tongue and palate for about 90 seconds and the odor should disappear. And if cucumbers aren't on the menu, parsley also has a neutralizing effect, so chew on some lettuce or parsley and you'll be fine. Mysterious nail discoloration. Have you ever looked at your nails and noticed strange white marks that weren't there before? This discoloration is very common and is called leukocynia. It usually doesn't mean anything serious, and there are several possible causes. It's usually a consequence of damage to the nail plate when you accidentally bump or clip your nail, as nails grow quite slowly. You may even forget about it when a spot like this appears. Leukocynia can also be an allergic reaction to cosmetics, nail polish, gloss, hardener or nail polish remover. Sometimes it means your nails are lacking minerals or vitamins, usually zinc or calcium. But if the whole nail doesn't turn white and there's no pain, these spots disappear on their own, so there's no need to worry. Since you're looking at your fingers, you can use them and click on the like buttons and subscribe to this video. Say prunes. Before you are photographed, you are often told to say cheese or cheese, but used to say prunes or prunes instead. In the 19th century, many people didn't like to smile because oral hygiene was poor and teeth were often unattractive. In addition, photography was considered a luxury and the process was taken very seriously, and therefore wide cheesy smiles seemed childish. So in British photo studios of the past, people were asked to say prunes for a reserved facial expression. This predated duck lips by about 180 years. By the mid-20th century, photography was faster, cheaper, and more common, and teeth were getting better. So when Kodak started making cameras for ordinary citizens in the US, they were advertised with pictures of smiling people. Ambassador Joseph E. Davis came up with the idea of saying cheese before taking a picture, and so the famous formula for a quick smile was born. Sharp invention. In 1919, Flaming Hot Cheetos were named Americans' favorite snack for the third year in a row, but few people know that these chips may not have existed at all. In 1976, 18-year-old Richard Montania worked as a janitor at the Frito-Lay plant in Rancho Cucamonga, California. He got $4 an hour in benefits, and his wife filled out paperwork for him because he had great difficulty reading and writing. One day, while working, Montania noticed that a broken machine on the conveyor belt had ejected a batch of empty Cheetos chips without cheese powder. He took those chips home and coated them not with cheese but with chili pepper powder, inspired by a favorite snack, roasted corn, slime and ground chili, that was being sold on the street. Montanias pitched the idea to Pepsi Company CEO Roger Enrico over the phone, and was given 2 weeks to prepare a presentation to the board of directors. Of course, it was a success. Montanias later became executive vice president of Pepsi Company in North America, and has also written best-selling books and speaks around the world inspiring people. The chocolate difference. If there's one thing Americans and Europeans argue about, it's chocolate. If you've tasted both, you've noticed that they taste quite different. But why? The answer lies in different standards. First, European chocolate is creamier because it has to have a minimum of 14% milk solids, while in the US it has to be 12%. Euro chocolate is richer because it must have 3.5% milk fat instead of 3.39% in the US, plus the European version is, well, more chocolatey because it has a higher cocoa content, which gives the bars a deep, refined flavor. But Europeans don't like American chocolate for another reason, too, because American Hershey's has some special ingredient in it, butyric acid. It makes the chocolate keep longer, and it also imparts a tangy flavor that puts off a lot of foreigners. Hopefully, this will put an end to arguments about chocolate from different countries. Let's stop and talk about chocolate in the comments. Which brand do you personally prefer? If some other food tastes different in your country, can you tell me too, because I'm really curious. Now back to the facts. The dunce cap is for the smart. Once upon a time in medieval times, the fool's cap, which is now associated with punishment, was a symbol of respected scholars. It all started with philosopher and metaphysical thinker John Duns Scotus, and the cap was named after him, dunce cap. Scotus was a proponent of the use of hubcaps, believing that they act as a reverse funnel for knowledge, and wisdom flows through the pointy tip and then goes straight to the brain below. These headdresses were popular among his followers, the dansmen, and so they became a symbol of high intelligence. But by the mid-16th century, public opinion had turned against Scotus, and dansmen became associated with idiocy. And of course, their caps became a symbol of stupidity, and then ended up in schools, where they were worn by lazy kids and double-dippers, humiliating and traumatizing them until the mid-20th century. Spain's Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is one of the first things that comes to mind when you think of France, but the landmark almost ended up in Spain. Engineer Gustave Eiffel proposed a plan for the monument to the authorities in Barcelona, but they rejected his idea, thinking it would be like an eyesore. He had to propose the design to other cities, and the tower found a home in Paris, where it became the main arch of the 1889 World's Fair. But Parisians didn't like it, and someone even called the iron structure a metal asparagus. The tower was not expected to last long, and they even wanted to sell it for scrap. It was only saved because the French army discovered that its height of 300 meters was ideal for a communications tower. Fortunately, the structure survived and went from a hated tower to a beloved landmark. Use your head. How many times have you parked your car and walked away and then suddenly remembered you forgot to lock it? Usually you have to go back before the signal reaches the car. But you can do that without going near the parking lot. Press the metal part of the key fob against your chin and press the lock button. You'll look weird, but it'll save you a few extra steps. That's how your head turns into an antenna, according to Silicon Valley radio engineer Tim Pazer. The fluids and electrical currents flowing in your brain make your head a pretty good conductor. It won't work over a long distance, but it will help extend the range of the key by a few meters. What facts surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments below the video. If you want to learn even more interesting things, you can watch the Parade of Facts on this channel. As always, thanks for watching.